The second season of the Traitors Canada keeps continuing to be chaotic and messy. It is both entertaining and frustrating to watch this group of faithfuls. They just keep providing moments to laugh at how wrong they are, and episode 5 continued that trend. We left episode 4 with the traitors trying to pull off a murder in plain sight. The frantic task to get a faithful to shake one of the traitors' hands while saying, "I trust you," before the deadline. We knew that Dylan was their target, but we were waiting to find out if they had succeeded in the task. If you had said a couple of episodes ago that the traitors were looking at Dylan as their next target, I would have said they should keep him around. The early suspicions around Dylan had seemed to simmer down, so it seemed like a plausible target for the traitors. Things had definitely shifted towards other faithfuls, with accusations flying about. At breakfast, Jasmine came in pretty adamant that Lauren is a traitor. Even though Michael succeeded in the murder in plain sight with Dylan, part of me wanted production to count Lauren touching Kira's hand and saying she trusts her. Jasmine was pretty certain about Kirkland being a traitor, so it comes as no surprise that she might be a little off the mark with her latest thoughts. Jasmine is 100% certain that Lauren is a traitor and that Kira is 100% a faithful. Where did that level of confidence come from with absolutely no evidence?
She's so funny. Like, how can you be so loud and so wrong at the same time?
Part of the reason I couldn't understand why Michael was so paranoid about Gail was that at first we weren't really shown much about who her suspicions were. She seemed to be confident in who she thought were faithfuls after the ones that were eventually banished. I thought that this insight might help in her figuring out who the traitors were.
Well, we have to vote for Jasmine tonight. We need to get her out. That will be our first traitor.
Hearing her actual suspicions pretty much burst the balloon of confidence I had in Gail.
Some of the theories these people toss around, I don't even know what they're saying, but somehow these faithfuls are like, yes, these theories. I'm like, none of this is making any sense, you guys. You're the worst faithfuls.
This is the funniest thing because some faithfuls will say they're 100% sure someone is a traitor, and when you push them for their reasons for suspecting, it's for something so small that it's barely a reason. During this episode, it seemed like a fuse was lit inside some of the faithfuls. There was a lot more chatter amongst each other, and a lot of names were thrown around, though most were completely off base. For the mission, the players were split into two groups with Aaron, Cedric, Jasmine, Lauren, Melinda, Mike, and Nick at a church. There were 7 coffins, each with one of the deadly sins. They each needed to choose the right one based on clues found in the church. For some, what happened in this mission ended up being another reason to suspect Cedric. He asked the others their opinion about which coffin to get into, and he wanted to clarify why it would be a particular deadly sin. I'm starting to think they're just nitpicking at Cedric now. It won't help Cedric that he feels so confident that Jasmine and Melinda are traitors. Going to Lauren, who is one of the people that wants him out, is a choice. It doesn't help that what we were shown of Cedric, Jasmine and Melinda's conversation doesn't match up with what Cedric was telling Lauren, which also slightly changed when he told Aaron. While the group were in the church, Karine wanted to speak to each of the others alone, which consisted of Gail, Kevin, Kira, Laurie, Michael, Neda, Pacman and Tranna. The mission in the church was worth up to $10,000, and Karine had asked the other group how much of it they would be willing to sacrifice for a shield. This little twist reminded me of the mole. While most of them didn't want to do so, one person did make a bid. With $7,500 eventually won by those in the church, Michael sacrificed $5,000. I kept questioning what was the play. Who was he trying to set up with that move? Did he even think that far? With all the traitors within the group, was he trying to set one of them up? Am I giving Michael too much credit with my questions? Just when I thought the round table in episode 3 couldn't be beaten, episode 5 took the biscuit, the cart and $5,000. With Karine telling them the news that the current total is $37,500, it ramped things up a notch, making up for episode 4's round table. There was Tranna thinking there are 4 traitors in Aaron, Cedric, Kevin and Laurie, while Cedric relayed the extra words in his conversation with Jasmine and Melinda to make him think Jasmine is a traitor. Even Laurie was questioned for her eagerness to start things going following the news that someone bid on the money won in the mission. The votes ended up in a two-way battle between Cedric and Jasmine, with a lonely vote for Aaron by Tranna. I thought the friction that Jasmine and Kirkland had for multiple episodes would help to see both of them banished pretty close to each other. After Kirkland's exit in the previous episode, we saw Jasmine follow. I was surprised that Melinda didn't get any votes because of Kirkland's exit. Maybe Melinda might be a name floated around along with Cedric in the next episode. I was also surprised that the group that were in the church wasn't scrutinized for lowering the pot. It feels like an opportunity missed. I wonder if some will circle back to that in the next episode. Pac-Man called out Michael, even thinking he probably took the money because Pac-Man noticed Michael being nervous. Kira knew instantly Michael was the culprit. We've seen 2 occasions where Kira has been able to read Michael's body language. The first time being after Karine chose the traitors, and now this. Michael's not doing a good job, and as a collective, the Faithfuls don't see it. A couple have noticed things but haven't pursued it. Kira shouldn't have gone all in on Michael at the conclave. I feel like it was a bad move. A smart traitor would now try to get Kira out because she's just laid all her cards on the table about what she thinks of Michael. I don't know if he has the backing to convince people against her. Neda, who had previously mentioned in her commentary of being wary of Kira, now believes she won't want to share the money because of how Kira reacted to Michael sacrificing the $5,000. This traitor dynamic is messy, but if they were able to keep it together, they could see a couple more Faithfuls banished before one of them. But the cracks that were shown before this are getting bigger. Even without the clips from episode 6, I would have thought Kira would try to get Michael banished. I don't think she should do so because I think this will just end up bringing more attention her way. I think Michael would do enough to get banished without a betrayal from another traitor. Kira should keep her hands clean. Though Kira isn't on anyone's radar, we know how quickly things can change. This implosion could be an excellent opportunity for Neda to benefit from the fallout. Michael wanted to consider Gail, Mike and Pac-Man as the next victim. Kira and Neda mentioned that they were all the people that have been suspicious of Michael. We are left hanging with a knock on the door. Normally this would mean a death row list, but we had the voluntary version of that in episode 1. So what could this possibly be?